Okay. Don't even try to grow or develop yourself if you don't have this, because it's never gonna work. Hi guys, it's Isabella Phillips from Uplift Within, and today we are talking about something so important. Something so freaking important. This is the number one thing that mentors don't talk about. I assure you that nobody is really focusing on and talking about is self-awareness. Boom, congratulations, you've unlocked the secret of everything in this video, and for yourself and for the whole entire world. I kind of wanted to get into this today because I'm kind of going through some family drama. And number one thing that I'm noticing is you can't change people, and people can't even change themselves unless they have this one thing, unless they are self-aware of everything about themselves. Like, you gotta go through some deep soul searching. You cannot fix a problem if you didn't even know it existed in the first place, right? You can't say, I'm gonna change if you think you're fine. How are you gonna be able to go through self-development, self-growth, have this huge journey, and just say, oh, positive thinking is enough? It's not. Self-awareness is the number one thing that you need to get down to before you can even step into having a good mindset and for all of these things to follow. If you don't think there's a problem, if you don't think that there's something that needs to be changed, then God help you, because that's gonna stop you from everything. Okay, let's get into it. I'm starting to think that it's ego. And I read somewhere that, like, ego is the devil, whatever you want to call it. Ego is the number one thing that protects someone from being wrong, or from feeling bad, or from feeling flawed, or it basically just tells the person that I'm perfectly fine, I'm good. Ego gets in the way of everything. It stops people from listening to other people. It stops people from having basic sympathy and empathy. It stops people from reaching out, giving back, being selfless. It protects you, and everything becomes you become self-centered. Literally, a synonym of ego is self-centeredness, because that's what it is. It becomes all about you, and you don't consider being in the other person's shoes. If you have ego, then obviously you cannot be self-aware. Your ego will protect you from looking deep within yourself and thinking, oh, maybe there is a problem. Maybe I'm not addressing these concerns. It stops you from doing that, you know? I assure you, if you're ever having a disagreement or some sort of beef with someone, first, look at yourself. Because if you think about it, everybody else is just projecting themselves. So I'm going through this, whatever it may be, and I'm trying to talk to them. And I'm noticing that I'm having a very difficult time trying to address concerns or voice out my own opinions, because one, they become deflective, they become defensive, and they think that I'm trying to attack them. When honestly, I am just reaching out my concerns and how I feel and how I see the situation. The reason why I'm getting so frustrated, in his family's eyes, I think they think that I'm some sort of threat or I'm trying to break things apart. So naturally, their ego comes in and says, you're messing with us, you're the problem, stay away from me, I'm right, you're wrong, there's nothing you can do about it, I'm gonna protect myself, and therefore it shuts me down. And I was trying to delve a bit deeply into this and figure out why people have such ego. It took me a while to kind of let go of that ego, and it took a lot of experiences and life lessons for me to step in and realize that not everything is about me. And maybe that's what motherhood did to me, because it stopped me from thinking that everything is about me, and I start to think about my children. So naturally, I kind of lean into a protective mode and see the external factors of my circumstances. And that's what a lot of people that I talk to nowadays cannot comprehend, because they are so self-absorbed that they're not even considering the external factors, because the world is literally evolving around them, or revolving around them. I don't know what the right terminology is, but so if I were to look back in the day of when I was quite not aware, it was basically around the time when I was fresh out of high school and I had this ex-boyfriend. I realize now he was very self-aware for his age. He was quite wise beyond his years, if you will. I didn't know it back then, but when I was looking through old emails and old messages, I could see how he was trying to express his concerns. But every single reply, every single message that I sent him, it was trying to protect myself. That was the whole point of every single message that I was sending back to him, was to protect my ego, protect myself, and I wasn't listening to him or his circumstances or seeing the big picture. That's the problem with ego, and that's why I was never able to grow. I did not have any any self-awareness of the situation. So naturally for him, it was very hard for him to communicate with me. And I see that now because I'm going through it the other way. It's so hard to communicate with someone who is not on the same page with you because they are not self-aware of what's going on within themselves. I think ultimately it does take a lot of self-reflection and being with yourself. I think a lot of people kind of go through a breakdown or a breakthrough in their lives where they're kind of isolated, and then they have this big moment of wow. They wake up, basically. If you ever heard the saying, I'm woke, that. People wake up, they realize that, wow, life is not really as it is, and not everything is about me. I do believe that the ego, it was built from a place of childhood trauma or not being heard from such a young age. And so as you get older, your body and your mind starts to find defensive mechanisms to kind of like cope with it, you know what I mean? So you shut people out, everything becomes about you, you protect yourself. One way that people can start healing today and to be more self-aware is, I think, by listening to yourself, talking to yourself, literally meditation, journaling, and just questioning that there is more to life than just you. Because I know that people would rather stay in denial than face the truth, because the truth hurts. And it hurts because it kind of makes your mind go back into the days of when you were young and you felt shut down, you felt guilt, shame, you felt all these negative emotions. And when you're hit with the truth, similar feelings of that come back, and your body and your mind don't want to feel that again. So it stops trying to get into any situation where you could feel that sort of pain. So it shuts down, it denies everything, the ego protects it, and boom, you lose self-awareness, and therefore you hinder your growth and your self-development for a better future. That sucks. That does suck, okay. This is also a point that I made in my notes, is external validation. The reason why people are not so self-aware is because they're worried about what other people will think about them, of who they really are. So therefore, they obtain some sort of image of who they want to be, and then they follow that. I think the problem with the media is that kind of rewards the image of being perfect and not self-truth. Okay, now we're gonna get into how to be more self-aware, because I've kind of mentioned what it is and why it happens, and I need to do more of this as well. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. No one's perfect, and I myself am going through this every single day on learning how to be more self-aware and how to better myself every day. But like I said, it starts at self-awareness. It starts with knowing exactly who you are, really. Get about the whole world revolves around you. No, you gotta let it be. Okay, so number one is I like to step back and observe. I sit down and I observe what's going on. And for example, in this family drama that's going on, I sit back and I observe and I look at my external factors, and I also put myself in the other person's shoes, because it is not always about me. I get comments from my husband's family-in-law saying that I'm ruining things, saying that I'm psychotic, saying that it's me, I'm the problem, I'm breaking things apart. They're projecting all these things, saying that it's me. But the problem with this is they aren't putting themselves in my shoes. It's not that I'm affected by what they're saying to me. I'm frustrated by the lack of communication skills that they're having, because they are not self-aware. They are being so self-absorbed because of their ego. Their ego is protecting them from an external threat, which is me. They think it's me, okay? And I've seen that time and again, that they've always thought that I was some sort of threat to the family. I felt it in their presence, the way they act around me. What can I do? I can't do anything, right? Like, it's not a me problem, it's a them problem. I can't do anything about the situation. I can only control myself. So, with that said, you gotta look at your external factors, step inside the other person's shoes, and forget about yourself for a moment. Look at the big picture. This is another thing too. Listen more than you speak. And you will hear a lot of wealthy entrepreneurs and mentors talk about listening more than you speak. And I know that I have to work more on this as well, because sometimes I get so emotional just as a woman, you know, especially when it's family drama. I tend to let my emotions overpower me sometimes, and therefore when I speak too much, because I'm trying to get my point across, which is not always the best thing to do. So When it comes to other people and stuff, I do this perfectly well because I don't feel like there's a threat going on, because it doesn't involve me or my children. So anyways, that's another thing. So listen more before you speak. What does that mean? It means don't just respond for the sake of replying to a conversation. So even if you feel like defending yourself, don't. Allow it. Listen to them, you know, kind of let it hit you. Like I said, the truth hurts. Self-awareness starts by getting hit with the cold, hard truth that breaks the ego and allows you to fully accept what somebody else is saying. They may be wrong or they may be right, but that's not the point. The point is to just accept it, listen to it, reflect on it. One of the things that I've been doing lately is I've been asking ChatGPT, because I've been recording everything on ChatGPT, like all my questions, my concerns, everything that's going on in my life. And so the number one thing that I like to ask it is, what is something you see about me that I don't see in myself? And tell me how my ego hinders that. And it's really interesting because it hits you hard. And the last thing that is super, super important with this whole self-awareness thing is accountability. You cannot develop yourself and grow if you are not accountable for every single thing you do in your life. What do I mean? I say this because I know that I am the most accountable person ever. So let's take it like this. I've done things in the past where I've hurt people. And what do? I don't become defensive about it. I don't say, oh, because they did this and that. I do not play the victim mentality. I say, they did this to me, they hurt me, and I said that about them. What do? I don't say, I'm sorry. What is sorry gonna do? Nothing, absolutely nothing. I just say, I know what I've done and I know what I've did to hurt you. There is nothing I can do to change it. But here we are now. What do you want to do about it? That's it. And the best thing about accountability is when someone tells you something, or when they try to ruin you and say, oh, but you did this and you said that. And then instead of being defensive about it, you kind of have all this power to be like, I know I did that, but that was in the past. I made mistakes. This is me now. What do they say to that? Oh, but you didn't say sorry to me. Okay. If I did say sorry, what is sorry gonna do? We can work it out now, or you can live with the fact that I did those things and I'm gonna say sorry and it's not gonna change anything. So that's what it is. Accountability gives you so much power on top of having self-awareness. That's it. And I'm so proud of saying that. I am so proud to have so much accountability for myself and everything that I've done. I think that's my number one superpower. Ultimately, we need to stop proving other people wrong and prove ourselves right. Once you learn to break from your ego and to look deep within yourself and become more aware of who you are, what you do, what you say, how you think, that is when true change happens. Only then can you change your mentality. That's the next step, mentality. That is all for this video, guys. Yeah. All right, guys, so we're coming to the end of the video. Do not like and subscribe, as always. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah.